involved.
And we'll probably never see them make out.
All right. Ready to record?
Ready to record.
All right. We are not live, but we are recording. We got a hot mic.
Hot mic.
Hot mic summer.
It's at least a 10, dude. R.I.P. summer. After today, the days are no longer than the nights.
Is fall officially the 22nd?
This year it's the 22nd.
Interesting.
Yes. Which our group chat about to get.
It's gonna get lit. Actually, it's gonna get the opposite of lit.
Yeah, and I can't wait.
We can say that because nobody listens to our podcast.
Yeah.
Well, Katie sometimes does, but nobody else from our friends group does.
Yeah.
Sad.
Unsupportive
friends.
Well,
we are back today with How I Met Your Mother season 7.
Yeah.
It is officially 6:54 p.m. on September 21st.
5 more hours of How I Met Your Mother in the summer. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna power through this.
Yeah.
We were able to get through the last recording in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So we are here with season 7. Very eventful season.
Yes.
We will end our episode today. We're talking about Robin's love interest. When I saw your list, I was honestly very surprised by how little people there were in it.
Yes. And then the Naked Man, I guess, is also. I didn't put the Naked Man in there.
There's 2 more on there that I just realized.
Did you? Okay.
Scooby. He's on there for a couple episodes.
Is he? And he's not the Canadian guy, is he?
He is a Canadian guy who's basically a dog.
Yeah.
And then there is also Nick, who is the hot chef.
From which season?
He is from season 8, right before Robin and Barney getting engaged.
Yes, and Nick is very hot.
Nick is very attractive.
Yeah. Nick is the dog. Nick is the dog.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Scooby just sucks. If Scooby's the Canadian guy who's in the band.
Yes. Wait, what?
Yeah. Nick
is in the band?
Murder
No,
Train.
you're talking about Simon. Oh, we gotta put Simon. Simon goes on the list.
Nick, How I Met Your Mother.
He's the one who she is like shacking up with.
Nate Scooberman.
That's Scooby.
Yeah. But then there's Nick Potteruti.
Yeah, he's the chef.
He's the chef.
Yeah. But anyway, let's go ahead and head back to where we were. Season 7 starts with they are at a wedding.
They're at a wedding.
And
it's Barney's wedding.
It starts with Barney's wedding. This is where we learn that he's going through with it and he's kind of freaking out a little bit.
Yes.
But then we also see the beginning of Punchy's wedding, which was teased, correct, I believe, last season. That's a bit of a misdirect. And this is where we start to see Robin kind of come to terms that she might like Barney. Again, after everything that happened.
Is this the one with the sexy dancing?
This is the one with the sexy dancing.
It is some sexy dancing.
Want me to send you my notes?
Yeah, please.
I can send you my notes.
So when I rewatched this scene, I was like, props to this scene because it made me buy back into the Barney Robin relationship after it was torpedoed. Like that sexy dancing was like, come on, you kids.
Yeah?
Come on, you lovebirds.
Come on, you lovebirds, indeed.
Yeah.
It's a very good scene. I do have a bit of an issue with it. It just feels very out of place for How I Met Your Mother. I know we had that scene in season 5 with Girls versus Suits, but I always consider that to be
a one-off.
A one-off, like not real.
Yeah.
It's clearly just all happening in Barney's head.
Right.
But this is like a whole dance, choreographed spontaneously.
I think though you needed something because like the last image we get of them as a couple is when they're both just like utterly disheveled and disgusting.
Yes.
And I think you needed something that was the opposite of that to really like get you back invested in the.
Is it fair to say that we're starting with Robin and Barney
As our character
for
focus?
for a character focus for this part? Yeah, fuck it.
It's kind of them up through
Until the end.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
I think even Ted takes a back seat.
Ted takes a back
season
seat.
9.
At this point, Neil Patrick Harris has he definitely commandeers the star power of the popular viewer.
Yes.
Right.
Which is fine. I like we mentioned at the beginning of our adventure through this series is Barney is the character that shows the most growth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to focus on him quite a bit whenever they get a chance. I kind of wish there was a quote or a line where they're just like, hey, remember that dance we used to do when we went to the wedding?
Yeah.
And then you have, they have a routine, they have something that they would do to show off or whatever, right? But it's not bad. As far as Barney goes, this is also where he starts to kind of get into other relationships, right? We have 2 big relationships for Barney this season. We have Nora at the very beginning of this. She's a character from last season. And we have Quinn in the back half of the season. So if you had to choose between the 2 ladies,
who would I pick?
Who would you?
They're both likable.
They're both very likable for very different reasons.
I think Nora is a sweetheart.
Yes.
Also, the actress is in The Rings of Power.
Yeah, she plays a hot human.
Yes, also a sweetheart in The Rings of Power. She's not Barney material though, and it's interesting that I think he gets both of them within the season because I think Nora is very much kind of like the stereotype of who you think Barney should be with.
Nora?
I mean, no, not Nora. Quinn. Yeah,
yes.
Barney should be with a stripper, right?
I concur.
And then while he's also in this process of character growth, right, he also encounters this woman who could represent the betterment and the domestication of Barney, but not in a dehumanizing way. It's not she's not someone who strips Barney of all this fun and character. He actually wants to.
And I think it's also because she knows what Barney is like.
Yeah.
He does try to hide it from her.
Yes.
But I think there is also a part of Barney that is glad that she was able to see that side of him and accept him, but still realize, okay, if I want to be a functioning partner in a relationship, I can't be like this.
Right.
And even with Quinn, there are some growing moments as well.
Yeah.
One episode that I really like is the Stinson Missile Crisis, where essentially Robin is trying to sabotage his relationship with Nora.
Yeah.
By having them basically get caught with a whole bunch of other people trying to show interest in them.
Yes.
And I think the episode Noretta is one of the episodes where it shows me my issue that I have with Nora as a core member of the group. And that's that we don't see her interact with the group as much.
We don't. Whereas we do more so with Quinn.
We see a lot more with Quinn.
Yeah.
I do like the interaction, the scene where James is ask me what I think about Nora. What do you think about Nora? Oh, she's great.
Yeah.
Ask me again. Oh, what do you think? Oh, no, she's great. Ask me again. What do you really think? It's I just don't like her. And it kind of shows there's something to explore there. And I don't know if maybe they just didn't want to take away too much from the fact that Robin kind of clashes with Nora.
Yeah.
But we do see a lot more interaction with the whole group with Quinn, I feel.
Yes.
Maybe not quantity of episodes, but I think amount of time wise.
I wonder. This is kind of this is a rabbit trail that we don't need to go down too far. But I wonder if there's an alternate universe of this show where you have the Nora character. She's too sweet for Barney, but perhaps she's a version of her as a match for Ted. And then I don't know what kind of drama you would spin off that. Potentially very interesting if Barney and Robin do end up in this alternate universe. where Barney takes a Ted girlfriend and Ted takes a Barney girlfriend.
For a while, I was under the impression that Nora could potentially
Be the mother.
Not necessarily be the mother, but be a potential love interest for Ted.
Yeah.
Because she just seems like the Ted type.
She does.
It would have been an interesting dynamic because, there was a whole issue in season 3 where
Ted was upset.
Why
don't you bang her too?
Still, all-time greater quotes.
Yeah. Nail her, I think he said.
I think he says nail her. It would have been a good switch, I think, to that.
Yeah.
And they could have mirrored that.
And then the show wouldn't have gone on for 9 seasons.
And on a high.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty interesting, I think, to have that. And then pretty soon after that, we have the episodes with it's the hurricane episode.
Yeah.
Which is where they're stuck together. Barney and Robin have a fling.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to mention is that at this time she is also dating Kevin after an incident involving Nora, where she beats up a woman in the street to basically prevent her from getting Barney in trouble. Right? Yeah. It's in that Stinson Missile Crisis episode.
Yeah. Anger
management, right? Court-ordered anger management therapy.
Yeah.
Great guest star, I think, having Cal Penn show back up in TV.
He's likable in the show.
Very likable. I think he fits well, I think, with the group.
More so than Nora.
Unfortunately, right? Because, you want, your love interests to be interesting.
Yes.
And while I like Nora, I wish they had done more with her.
I think what doesn't... So it's interesting. When I watched these last seasons, in the midst of it, I'm like, oh, this is better than I remember. But now as I look back at them, I think part of what doesn't do it for me is how kind of fleeting all these love interests are. And you kind of know that it's going to crash and burn soon because you know that nobody's probably going to be with who they're supposed to be with. I mean, in episode 1, it's not confirmed that Barney, that Robin's the bride that Barney's going to marry.
Yeah, that's the end of season
7. But who the fuck else is it going to be? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like how so this is season 8, getting ahead of ourselves. I like how some of our breakups kind of handles it as this big disastrous event.
Yeah.
But as you're watching, you're kind of like, all right, this to me is where you really feel the waiting for the mother fatigue.
Yeah, because you're just kind of let's move it along. They're kind of starting to test our patience, and the fact that we are feeling this way, and then it's still a whole other season.
Yeah.
Until that happens. Yeah,
balls indeed.
Yeah. So, they have their affair. They're both deciding is this a thing, or are we just fooling ourselves and just screwing around?
Right.
Barney makes a very... Barney takes the leap on this.
He takes the leap, and he's ready to go all in.
Man, that scene at the end of that episode is kind of tough.
Yes.
Seeing Barney at the bar waiting, and then he sees Robin walk in with Kevin. After he got coconut jalapeno vodka in his eyes. It is hard, and then we also see that Ted, sees what happened.
Right.
Ted understands that
Barney was ready
to settle down here. Yeah. He really was ready to basically lay everything on the line, and Robin wasn't at this point. Which I feel like it's also kind of shitty because then the way they end Kevin's relationship with her almost feels like a fuck you to him.
Yeah, how so?
Well, because the reason why they break up, so this is actually fine that we're moving quickly that way,
right?
Is because Robin finds out she can't have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin proposes to her soon after,
Right.
and the reason why they break up is because she's like, you always said you wanted kids. Right now you're saying you don't because you want to be with me, but
that's not
is that something that you truly want? And the
Yeah.
implication is that he says, no, you're right.
Yeah.
And that sucks because I feel like if things had just ended before, like we could have skipped the whole karma section.
Yeah, I guess I still don't read it as like a fuck you to Kevin.
This seems kind of mean.
Yes. No, it is, correct me if I'm wrong, it is implied that she did not tell Kevin that she cheated with Barney, right?
I think she heavily implies that he tells her like,
Yes,
I don't need to hear
I
it.
don't need to hear it. Exactly. That's what
Which is a very psychologist way of thinking of things, I feel like.
Which
Like
good for the show. For
good for them.
Writing
And good for him.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, this is not a conversation that you want to have. It's not one that I want to have. If you're willing to move past it, I'm willing to move past it.
I think, though, that he then would kind of seem, though, like the character who would then be willing to go all out and then neglect his dream of children.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like it was a little weird, like the way that they made it seem like he wouldn't.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, whatever. But then that does lead us to
The drunk train.
the drunk train, Barney kind of going back to his old habits, trying to shack up with as many girls as he can. But he's only kind of freaking out for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, like we said, it's a too memorable girlfriend season for him.
By the time we get to the drunk train, we already have Quinn in the picture. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes later.
Yeah. Not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time. I do like the way that she's kind of a con artist at first.
Yes. And I think it's a type of justice for Barney.
Yes. Yeah. You know, after years of scamming women, now we have someone who knows
how to scam it back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. One thing that we didn't mention at the beginning is that this is also the season with Robin and Ted's 40-year deal.
Yes.
Which is a whole thing that I'm like, please don't.
In terms of please don't make the deal.
It's just it's such a thing that you're like, it's bound to fail.
Yeah.
And it's bound to just make the show awkward for the sake of making the show awkward.
So it's interesting. I knew a friend who I remember, and this was back in high school to college. So granted, your brain is stupid back then. Your brain is still stupid, but it's even more stupid back then. Not your brain, the royal you. And I remember this friend was dating this girl, and then they had put an expiration date on their relationship. And they're like, we told ourselves we're going to break up on this date. And then in my brain, I was like, all right, well, that's stupid. Because, if you know it's not going to last, then just, cut the cord now and then start going your separate ways. And there's something about while the 40-year pact is not that, there's something dumb about that. I don't know. It feels like falling into a rut, but it also feels like, all right, if you're even seriously considering this, then just bang already, as they say, and not more than just bang, but I don't know if you're both really actually open for commitment, enough of this, I don't know what's going on with my life now, I don't know what the person I'm just going to be, just be with each other and move on. And I know that's an oversimplification that the show doesn't buy into, but
I also think that would be fine if we didn't have the structure of Robin's not the mother.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, why this feels like just such a huge step back for Ted.
Right.
And I get it. I think it's a step back that he needs to have in order for him to kind of start to get over Robin finally, which, again, takes a little too long.
There's a lot of... The other thing about these last few seasons is there's just a lot of steps back and meandering, even with, the living situation.
Yeah?
of the place. I always get, even in the midst of watching the show, I get confused in terms of like
who lives where and
who
when,
lives where,
and...
who owns what, who's like selling, right?
Yeah, because this is the season where Robin and Ted stop living together.
Yeah,
they've been living together since season 4.
Yeah,
fuck,
a while. Does he own the house yet?
Yes, he owns the house by at least a couple years by now. But that same episode where Robin and Kevin call it quits, that's the culmination of the 40 of the 40 rule.
Yes.
Where Robin and Ted are like, let's try to make this, like, is this going to be a thing?
Yeah.
And then they're like, wait, let's think about this. So before we delve into that, because I would be getting into Ted's situation, after that, it's all Barney and Nora, right?
Barney and Quinn.
Sorry, Barney and Quinn.
Yeah.
People, I think overall are feeling pretty positive on Quinn by the end of the season, which I think it's also extremely mean-spirited to undercut the engagement in the Magician's Code.
Yeah.
By literally, like, they get engaged, season ends,
and then
new season starts. By the way, no, season ends with the reveal that it's Robin.
That it's Robin, yeah.
So you're like, well, thanks for...
Thanks for... And I mean, I like that in the moment as a dramatic move, but then so while I like Nora and Quinn, let me focus on Quinn for a second. When I think back about her, what do I think? I'm like, oh, she was the stripper girlfriend, and she was fun, right? And maybe, maybe that's a structural flaw of the show, that it just, like, towards the end, it just has too many pieces in play, and they're in and out relatively quickly. But I feel like most of Barney's growth happens, pre-Quinn in this tail end of the show. And then you're like, well, then you're just looking at Quinn as an accessory for Barney. And I'm like, yeah, but the show kind of makes her that, because, like, even when he had his engagement or his bachelor party in season 8, like, she's still there to be part of that, right? I mean, like, Barney breaks her heart, and, like, yeah, she still takes up the job to, like, fuck with him, right, of the bachelor party. Yeah. But it's even, like, I don't even know that it's fucking with him.
I don't even know that it's that she breaks his heart. I think they just both realize, like, they're just not a match. Yeah. So I feel like that was a very mutual, like, separation, as opposed to, like, with Nora, where it really was. He did break her heart, I feel. And with her parents there. Yeah. Holy shit.
Scumbag move.
That is my scumbag moment for Barney, I think. I think that's it for them. We can blow through Lily and Marshall pretty quickly.
They get a baby.
Their baby's not born yet.
Is he born at the end of the
season? No, this is where she gets her pregnancy boobs. This is the whole pregnancy saga. Yeah. One of my favorite episodes of all time is The Burning Beekeeper, where they're living in the suburbs now.
Yeah, Martin Short's in this episode.
Yeah. They're having a housewarming party. Yes. Marshall is officially working for an eco-friendly company. Yes. Environmental lawyer. Good for him. And The Burning Beekeeper, I love this episode because of the way it's basically retelling you the same 5 minutes of events. Yeah. 3 different times.
It's classic HIMYM.
It's very funny because you see snippets of what's going on in the other rooms, right? But you don't know until you move into that room. Yeah. And I'm a sucker for fire stunts. As soon as I see someone lit on fire, I'm like, yes, excellent. I love this. Yeah. And the fact that it's you think it's Mickey the whole time, right? Lily's dad, but it's actually Harrison Coots. Garrison or Harrison? Garrison.
Martin Short.
Yeah. The fact that it's him, I think, is just makes that punchline even funnier. Yeah. Because that's the timer in the show. When you see the Burning Man running through, that's when you go through the next room. Um, that really is it. It's because of them that Barney wears a ducky tie,
Yeah.
which is always a fun thing. It got me to buy a rubber ducky tie.
The ducky tie is this is the ducky tie season. Meaning, like when I think back to what happened in season 7, I'm like, yes,
The ducky tie.
the ducky tie season.
The ducky
Yeah.
tie. And, you know, Allison Hannigan's cans do look good in the season.
Won't make a comment, but yes,
She says it herself.
she does.
I think this is Ted's most... I don't want to say it's his most stagnant season. I feel like I've said that before.
Yeah.
But this is... He doesn't really have a lot of growth. He has some regression.
So I always forget how much time is in between Victoria's initial appearance in the season and then when they run away together at the end of the season.
It's the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
It's the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because Victoria's back in episode 2
Yeah.
when they go to that dinner date. And that's it. I want to say it's like the last episode where she walks in
Yeah.
and she's in a wedding dress.
And then one of the last shots is them leaving
And
together.
it's them leaving together. Because season 8 starts with the note.
Correct.
So, anything that you feel is important that we touch on? Do you think it was a good move to bring back Victoria?
From just like a... So I'm a sucker for the cheesy George Lucas hit rhymes thing. Like, oh, we're getting to the end, so we're gonna bring back the first girlfriend who we thought was the mother, who wasn't the mother, and bringing her back is a signal that like, we're getting to like mother now. I like that.
Is that similar to when Ted went on the double date, on the blind date that he had gone
That he
7
gone
years
before?
later?
Yeah. A lot of people think that Victoria gets character assassinated, but that's more season 8 than season 7.
I disagree, but
I thought, especially this past time around, I thought it was interesting that they revealed that she also cheated on him in Germany, and I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you.
Wait, what do you mean? So, again, I think we had this discussion about cheating. I feel like Ted
cheated.
Ted is for sure. I can be like, yes.
Yes, but from what I remember in the timeline, they do make it seem like she had at least been doing something with Klaus. Maybe not full on cheating like Ted did, but like there was some sort of flirtation with Klaus going.
I feel like she may have had feelings for Klaus.
Yeah.
But she was staying faithful to Ted, and
Right.
then once Ted broke it off,
And
then she was like, "Oh well, you know."
And I guess I do kind of like that because it diffuses. I don't know. It diffuses a lot of like the high school drama.
The way Ted handles that,
Yes.
where he starts licking the plates, like these plates are clean, just like my conscience. And he just licks them and throws them. That's peak Ted.
That is peak Ted. That's scumbaggy.
It's so good. It's so petty.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love me some petty Ted. That said, though, I can see why people would feel it's character assassination. But I just don't understand what else you could expect from Victoria. And we'll talk about that in a little bit when we record season 8, right? But as far as this goes, I could see how she would be swayed to maybe go with Ted again. You know, it's also a regression for her.
And people regress, right?
People regress all the time.
I think it's so. This is. I know we keep on like jumping to other seasons. I feel like it's hard to discuss these last 3 seasons without discussing the other 2. Meaning, I feel like it's hard to discuss 7 without discussing 8. I feel like it's hard to discuss 8 without discussing 9.
I feel like 7 and 8 are almost like a conglomerate.
Yeah, and then 9 is.
I feel like 9 is pretty standalone.
Standalone, but then like in terms of the timeline of the show, it's like a weekend.
Holy shit! Yeah.
Yeah. So then you're kind of like, all right, you almost just wish the show was just condensed a little bit, so then you could move to something meaningful. Like to me, it does suck to see Ted date like crazy bitch like at the end.
Ah, that's That's pretty painful.
And then that's just, even though like the show goes out of the way to show that Ted is part of what's making her crazy. So that was not very, that was not very Cash Money of me just now. But I don't know. It feels just like a lot of treading water. And you know, I know it's a very basic critique and it's an old critique, but if the show was just like a season shorter, then
I think that's always been the argument.
Yeah.
They should have condensed it.
An argument made by Jason Segel.
Did he?
That's why he's gone for most of season 9 on the road trip, because he didn't want to do a season 9.
Oh.
So they convinced him, but you know, by then they couldn't really get him for that long. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Was not aware.
Was not aware.
Something that I didn't know about How I Met Your Mother that you knew.
Very good.
Very good.
Learning.
Very good.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty solid spot to stop our discussion.
Yes.
Because now we really are bleeding a lot into season 8.
Yeah.
So we could end here. Let's go ahead and do our jam board really quick.
Jam board.
So for today's jam board, we are putting together a list of Robin's love interests. So let's go down the line from what I have here.
I'm still on the old one. I still see the plays.
At the top, there's a little thing that says 1/2.
I see. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
yeah.
Thano put this on this list. I don't understand really why, but he said Patrice.
Yeah. not a pure love interest. But with the amount of yelling, there's got to be some
sexual tension.
Yeah. C tier.
D tier. Fine. Yeah. All right. Fine.
Just
fine,
for Patrice. Just
yeah. She's adorable.
She's adorable.
She is too kind a person.
Yeah. Now, by this point, Lily should be on my list, because I think towards the end there is an episode where like Robin has the hots for Lily. I think there's one episode. But
you are not gonna have to twist my arm.
Yeah.
Fine. Oh, look at that.
S tier.
S tier.
So C tier for Patrice.
C tier for Patrice.
S tier for Lily. The most accurate.
If they had to write off Jason Segel in season 9 because he died in a tragic road trip accident.
Yeah.
With Daphne.
Daphne, yeah.
You know, I would have been okay with this.
Exactly.
Gael is up next.
Fuck Gael. D tier.
Wow. Yeah, no, he's
Gael
so
annoying.
fucking annoying.
He
is a beautiful man.
Yeah.
A great singer.
I think I was peak into my libertarianism when I was watching this season for the first time. I'm like, God bless this American woman kicking out these hippies with a gun. While now I'm in favor of repealing the Second Amendment, I will say, God bless this American woman for kicking out these hippies with a gun. Canadian American woman, but American nonetheless.
You know, I have mixed feelings on Enrique Iglesias because he is primarily known for doing stuff in Mexico.
I like Bailando.
It's not a bad song.
Yeah.
But he is from Spain.
He is from Spain.
So that D tier is well deserved. I'm going to go ahead and skip this one for now.
Yes.
Because I feel like these two I'll save to the end.
Could it be?
Who could it be? Let's go with Don.
Don. I feel like he gets a bad rap.
He gets a bad rap for sure. But judging purely on chemistry...
Yeah. I feel like the way that he left was abrupt.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. They're together for always like shorter
than you expect.
Yeah. I say B tier for Don.
B tier for Don? I could see B tier for Don too.
Yeah.
I really like Kevin.
Yeah.
I feel like the way things end with Kevin, I feel like I'm hovering between A and B for Kevin.
Yeah.
Because he's funny. He's a good fit for the group.
Yeah, I think that has to put him above Don.
I think
that he fits well with the group.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Scooby has some hilarious fucking jokes though.
Yeah.
Like there's some the whole thing where they're like, "Oh, he's lost. We lost Scooby. Yeah. How did he open the door? Yeah. He learned how to open. Let's get him on Letterman."
Yeah.
But I think that's less a Scooby characteristic, unless the group is just always really funny when they're high.
Correct. But it's still funny.
It's still funny.
Yeah.
I would probably put him more in line with Patrice
at C tier.
Simon can go to hell.
Simon can go
to hell.
Simon.
We're only going down to D tier.
We should have an F tier.
Just for Simon?
Yeah. I think I think Simon has to be down there alone. He's just so ugly and a piece of shit.
Well, here's the thing.
At least
he's ugly because they made him ugly in the show.
Yes.
James Van Der Beek is a very good-looking man.
I'm sure he is, but this is not James Van Der Beek. This is Simon we're talking about. I think Gael has to move up to C, despite the fact we'll put him like all the way to the right at C. Let it be known that he is a low C.
Hold on one second. I'm putting
F tier, yes.
F tier. I am making an F tier.
No Child Left Behind. What? Fail this bitch.
Fail. Okay.
You,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Nick is up next. Nick, I feel like he gets done dirty.
Yeah.
Of all of Robin's love interests,
he is the hot one.
He's the very attractive one who seems relatively well put together.
I forget, is his bit that he's dumb?
His bit is that he's massively stupid.
Yeah.
But, like, it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it does.
And it's almost, like, uncharacteristically stupid. I know the show, like, hyperbolates a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is such an extreme...
Yeah, that it's...
Stupid.
It does a disservice.
That I feel bad for the way they treat Nick.
Yeah.
I would be willing to put him around Don or Kevin.
I would say B tier.
B tier.
Yeah. I think Kevin stands on his own.
Fair.
Yes.
All right. So now we have the big two. Let's start with.
All right, Tedward and Barney. I'm going to say it. Barney's the perfect match. S tier.
Barney's a perfect match.
Yeah. S tier for Barney.
Such a waste.
Such a waste. So despite the fact that I've grown more okay with the ending, for what it means for Ted specifically, I still don't buy that he's a better match for Robin.
Oh, absolutely not.
Than Barney is.
I'm actually thinking Ted's more of a B tier for Robin.
Really? Explain.
I feel like, as far as goals go, Kevin is more in line with Robin.
Yes.
Yes, Ted and Robin have great chemistry. I specifically list that on Josh Radnor and Kobe Smulders.
Ted and Robin have great chemistry because just like the show contrives that they have great chemistry.
Yes, but like their interactions are still very good.
Yes.
Like even from the very beginning. But they are just so different.
They are.
They are just not a compatible match.
Yeah.
The only reason why it works in the end is because Tracy's dead.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. No.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
That is why I would put Ted even below Kevin.
I think that's fair.
I feel the reasoning behind Kevin leaving Robin feels like bullshit.
Yeah.
I feel like the reason why Ted and Robin don't work out throughout the show makes perfect sense.
Yes.
So that's why I'm thinking Ted.
Ted is the...
Would you argue against that? Would you feel more he's between A and B?
I mean, A only just because of like longevity, but I think
You're like, I'm too invested in this to be anything but.
I think B is fair. I think you can make a case for B, and therefore I'll keep it in B. So Calpen can give that man a win.
Calpen needs a win. He's in something recently.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And I can't remember. And I'm like, this man has gotten stuck being a psychologist in 2 movies now.
Yes, I think we saw that trailer together.
Is it Smile?
Maybe.
Curious.
I'm excited to see Smile. I'm sure it'll be bad, but I'm excited.
Oh, I'm sure it's gonna be dog shit, but I'm excited for some cheap shit. So here's our list. S tier, we have Lily and Barney. A tier, Kevin.
Fair.
B tier,
Don, Nick, and Ted. Respectable.
Oh, very good. Very good. C tier,
Patrice and Scooby.
Very good.
Yeah.
D tier,
Gael. Yeah.
And then and his
Fuck
own.
you, son. Yeah. I put Robin's daddy issues above Simon as a romantic interest.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a pretty solid list. I'm happy with this list.
I agree.
I can get behind this. I don't think I could argue against anyone on this list. Gael being that low seems a little mean, but
he's Gael.
But he's Gael.
Yeah.
Girl.
Gael.
Gail.
Taste your food.
Oh man. God damn.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Put him down there.
Let's stop here before I decide to move Gael to F tier and ruin our fun Simon one. I made a specific line for Simon.
Yeah, that tells you.
That tells you.
He just sucks.
All right. Well, we will be back very shortly.
Yeah. With episode 8.
Episode 8, season 8. The last of the long span seasons.
The last of the long span seasons.
All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Follow us at the Cine-Scoots.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.